Hi and welcome to the fifth card in our May card class, the second one in our On the Horizon set of cards. This is the fifth card that we're going to be making on this video, and what I've done is I've created a little scene using the layering circle dies, added in some embossing and still used one of those lovely pieces of designer series paper in the background there. Everything you need is in your kit. You just need to cut yourself a piece of designer series paper, which I need to do. So I'm just going to find the piece that I have used and we will make a start. Here it is. Okay, so this is the piece of designer series paper that we need. Okay, it's a lovely landscape looking piece and we're going to add a bit of detail on that to bring our card together. So take everything out of your card kit and I'll explain what we have here. So we have our card base and it's a thick basic white card base, and then I've given you a layer of embossed crumb cake card, and we can stick that onto the centre of our card front straight away. This is one of those embossing folders, but it looks nice on the embossed way and on the debossed way. So just pick the side that speaks to you the most. And then we have a piece of basic white card to go inside. And that's going in the centre of our card. So that is our card base sort of started. We can put that to one side for the moment whilst we work on the rest of our scene. So starting with this piece of basic white card, it measures 10 centimetres by 10 centimetres, and I'm going to add myself a little a little black line around the edge of this. I've created the aperture with a layering circle die, and if you remember the second card in this month's card class, the mint macaron circles, the white circle that you've used as your focal point in that card is the one that was cut from here. So waste not, want not. So that is our window that we have just created. So put that piece to one side, and what we'll do next is we will cut our piece of designer series paper. So the piece that you need is 9.5 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres. So I'm going to cut this piece here in this top corner. Like so, okay? So you can put that piece to one side because you don't need that, but we're going to need this piece that we've cut off the edge as well. Okay. So starting with this piece, we need to do a little bit of stamping. Okay. So I'm going to stamp on this piece in Evening Evergreen. It's a really rich dark green colour and it works really well, I think, with these colours. And we're going to use this tree image. Bear with me, the dog's asking to go out. And we're going to stamp here and here. So I'm stamping almost on the horizon line. And you want to stamp quite far in because remember that you've got your frame coming in. And then this side we're going to do the same but a little bit higher. Okay, so that is our trees. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp our birds, and our birds are being stamped in the same colour, so Evening Evergreen again, and just stamp across. Depends how many birds you want. And then what we can do is we can add our frame over the top to get the idea of how it's going to look. So although you've stamped a lot of birds at the top, quite a lot of it is lost. but actually I'm okay with that. So the next thing we need to do is we need to add some dimensionals to this piece, because what we want to do is we want to create some depth to our window. Now this would make a really nice shaker card. If only I'd have thought of that when I was designing. Okay, so I'm putting my dimensionals around the edge, but I'm being mindful to not put any on the sides because we need to slide in some trees before we finish. Okay, and then pop your white piece on, and you can now stick that to the front of your card. Okay, so I'm just going to add some wet glue. Now if, like me, you've got some DSP sort of right up to the edge, it looks okay because it's not gone over, but if you're unhappy with it, just snip a little bit off with your snips. And then that's sitting in the centre of our card. So that's coming together quite nicely. It's a nice little scene, but we want to add a bit more detail. So now I'm going to bring in our lovely conifer looking trees die, and I'm going to stamp over that with this one here. So I'm just going to clean off some of the ink on my stamp and bring in a Mossy Meadow stamp pad. And then I'm going to stamp over my trees with that image. And what this does is it gives a sort of conifer looking pattern or texture to that die cut. I'll just show you up close. So there we've had a nice amount of texture to that. We bring our card back in, pop some glue down on the trees. And then we're going to slide this in and just pop it in until we're happy with where it is. I'm happy with that there. And then slide your snips in and cut that off. Okay, so it just gives a little bit more depth to your scene and more detail, which is never a bad thing. The next thing we need to do is we need to add a bit of pattern to our fence, and I'm going to stamp this in Cajun Craze. So it's a bit of a reddy colour, which you might think that's a bit crazy, but I think it looks really nice. So again, I'm stamping it so that the lines are vertical in the same direction as our fence post. And just stamp that until you're happy with the overall look. It also looks nice if it's stamped in, what did we do before? We used soft suede, and it also looks nice stamped in crumb cake as well. Okay. I'm sitting my fence just in that bottom corner so we can still see our nice line, and I'm going to do the same this side. So we're creating a gate sort of look. So we're going to be going through our gate into the field and having a nice time. And then to finish, we've got our grass. I'm not stamping on this, but you absolutely could stamp on it. And then we have our little pebbles. And to bring in that red in that Cajun Craze, I'm going to use these dark pebbles. Sorry, the brown pebbles. Which work really nice with it. Oh, my grass has come off. There we go. For our sentiment, we're going to use this little strip of soft suede card, and we're going to stamp thinking of you into that with white embossing powder. This is where I need to go careful not to burn my fingers. I'm just going to hold that with my snips. It's probably going to curl, isn't it? Lovely. Let's bring our card back in and stick that down. So I don't want it to cover my grass too much. And there we have it. That is our card front finished. And then to the inside I've added just a little strip of the DSP, like so. And I'm going to stamp a tree on the edge in that evening evergreen, just to bring some of that background detail in our window into our card. Oh good, the dog's barking. And there we have our 5th card all finished. Let me know what you think, and I hope you liked it. I'll see you over on the next video for our final card of May's card class. Bye for now, everyone.